the system.
Hey, you wanna hear a good joke? Nobody speak, nobody get choked.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Out of here, baby! Nobody speak. Nobody speak. Nobody speak. Nobody gets choked. I knew you'd come.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of the Sunday Night Slam here on TBK Magazine and TBKRadio.com. My name is Richard, and joining me today is my partner on this show and in life, and I drag her everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, Ashley is here with me again. Hi, Ashley.
Thanks. Hi.
That's a great intro.
You do drag me everywhere, though.
Including last night. We were out until 2 in the morning.
Uh-huh.
To see the NWA Championship defended for the second week in a row. And my God, I was less than 3 feet from it.
That belt is gorgeous.
We'll get to that in a little bit later. We're going to talk about Cape Championship Wrestling and our experiences at the AC Braze Arena. Is that how it's pronounced? Is it Braze or Brace? It's Braze. It has to be Braze. At the AC Braze Arena in Cape Girardeau. And what a show it was last night. But that's not all the news we have today. We're going to talk All In. We're going to talk some WWE Women's Evolution pay-per-view and a whole lot more. But first, guys, I don't like starting shows off on a sad note. And I think this is the big story for the day. The wrestling world lost 3 members of its family. Brickhouse Brown, who wrestled in the Memphis territory, probably more best known for his run in the Memphis territory, always a heel in the South. Actually defeated Jerry Lawler for the AWA Southern Heavyweight Championship as well. And anytime you beat Lawler, that's a big deal, especially in this area.
It is.
So he passed away with his battle from cancer. I don't know if anybody's been keeping up with this story. And I told you what had recently happened.
Yeah.
Was Brickhouse Brown's death was reported last week. And miraculously, you being a nurse can at least shed on how this is possible, maybe, other than divine intervention. Because honestly, that's kind of what it sounds like. Brickhouse Brown was pronounced dead, and it started making the rounds that he had passed away. Within 10 minutes, Brickhouse Brown was alive. Like, he popped back up and said everything was fine. He was talking and everything.
It happens sometimes, and especially if the doctor that pronounced it was a little lax and didn't listen for the full time that he was supposed to. Maybe his heart was only beating like 20 times a minute. Normally that means you're dead or dying. Not always.
I didn't know
Sometimes
that.
you can pop back.
I didn't know that. Hey, I learned something new today. That's what our shows are about, everybody.
It's harder to say that people are dead than you think.
See, I just figure it's no pulse, they're dead. I don't think I'm wrong, but I could be wrong. Is that pretty much it? I mean, or what's the procedure?
No heartbeat, no respirations.
Okay.
For X number of minutes.
Yeah, Brickhouse Brown still wrestled on the indies up until 2011.
Wow.
Until he got diagnosed with cancer, and that pretty much stunted his career at that point. And I've seen a lot of great tweets about him. I never really got to see him perform. I know of his character because I'm just now growing up where I didn't get to see the Memphis territory. And now I'm at that point in life where I'm finally getting to see the Memphis territory.
Well, that's because you moved to the Memphis territory.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got a ton of people here that can give you awesome stories.
Yeah, no, and I think eventually we're going to get some of those Memphis people on our show. Like, I would love just to hear stories of Memphis wrestling. Just some of the territory stories, because I know some of them are wild and crazy, and then others are just going to be nuts.
Yeah.
I know someone told a story about a match happening, they used to do these pop-up shows. And the story, I've actually been told this to my face, by a fan who went to the pop-up show, and this is during the height of the 80s, and said that someone almost caused a riot with a cake. So, in wrestler birthday lore, if a wrestler has a birthday, he will get hit in the ring with a cake, probably.
Yeah.
And I guess a fan got hit by the cake as well, and it started this huge incident. So I want to find out who was part of that at some point.
Nice.
Legend, WWE Hall of Famer, Nikolai Volkoff passed away at 70. I know of Nikolai. I actually had Nikolai's action figure growing up. Like the LJN ones, for anybody who has those. They're about 2 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah, they were pretty good size. Maybe a foot tall. Maybe not that tall. But they were a foot tall, but they were hard, and they were really awesome action figures. And I had his. He was one of the first heels, though. I can legit remember. And the reason I remember him is because every time he'd come out, he'd have everyone try to stand up while he sang the Russian national anthem. And I mean, it was at the height of the Cold War is when that character came about.
When it was a real big deal to be Russian.
Which, I mean, I guess kind of right now you could probably do it too.
Well, for different reasons.
Yeah.
It will not get you the same reaction.
Yeah, Nikolai Volkoff started in Calgary and moved on to the WWF and then the WWF in the late 1960s, early 1970s, and continued there all the way up until 95.
Wow.
Yeah, he actually was part of the $1 Million Corporation in 95. He sold out. There was a time frame in 91 where he became an All-American character, like a face. Yeah. It was him and Duggan. It was him and Duggan on a team. Like, they were always seen together. It was an interesting time. Volkoff still wrestled a few pay-per-views after he retired from the WWF. So, good times. He did pass away at the age of 70. He was being released. He'd just been released from a hospital for being treated for dehydration and other issues. I think a lot of us will remember him, though, as that. I think a lot of people in my age range will remember him as like the first heel that you honestly went, I don't like you. that's he won multiple
from your early childhood.
Yeah, and we're actually going to cover one of his biggest matches on WWE coming up.
Okay.
WrestleMania 1.
Huh.
It was him and the Iron Sheik winning the WWF Tag Team Championship.
Okay.
So that's kind of probably his biggest match that I can remember. And I don't know much about his early career, and if I'm wrong, please send me emails. I would not mind knowing more.
Yeah.
Because the territory days are where I just, because I'm not that old.
it's hard to find stuff on most of these territories too, because it was before you had readily available information.
Right.
Like, it's newspaper clippings and letters to people.
Those wrestling magazines back in the day, the kayfabe magazines, the
that
Aftermax.
was like completely dependent on people sending in what happened.
Oh yeah, no, the Aftermags were wonderful. Which Bill After is going to be at StarCast. And there was all these magazines at the time, like Pro Wrestling Illustrated and The Wrestler and Ringside, and it was all these wrestling magazines that still kept kayfabe up until the late 90s. It was fun. Those were fun magazines. I think PWI still exists, by the way. I think Pro Wrestling Illustrated is still a thing.
It is, because they do
the PWI 500 every year, yeah.
I don't know that it exists in the original format.
No, but it's fun. Like, I remember those magazines and going back and reading them going, oh my God, because I found a bunch of them when I was cleaning out my mom's house. And I went, this is so bad. It's so good, though, at the same time now. Things you pick up when you're older. Also, guys, I'm sorry, but we had, like I said, 3 left the world today, and the other one being Brian Christopher, one half of Too Cool in the WWF during the Attitude Era. This one hit me a little harder than than the other two, but that's only because I grew up watching him. We've seen him recently.
Yes, we have. We live in the Memphis area, and so he was one of the staples of basically every convention around here, you're going to get a couple of wrestlers, and it's going to be him and Jerry Lawler and
Rikishi and
yeah.
There's also Bill Dundee.
That's
you're going to get
part
this core group, and he was part of it.
And he is from this area, and I've literally my whole life seen him around. Like, he's one of the random celebrities that'll show up at a new car lot opening.
Oh, yeah.
They do random wrestling matches in parking lots of places in our area. I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if anywhere else still does that. But, like, there was a impromptu wrestling match, like 2 matches in an AutoZone parking lot 3 months ago for some kind of promotion.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't find out about it till the day of, so we didn't go. But
I think Damone was part of that, and you saw him last night at Cave.
Yeah, he might have been. Like, there's random wrestling stuff all over our area, and he's always been a huge part of it.
He's a part of, I mean, the Lawler family is just kind of cemented in this area.
Yeah.
And when I woke up this morning to see that he was on life support, my heart just broke. Now, for anybody covering Brian Lawler, I mean, we know him as Brian Christopher Moore. That's what I'm going to say. His career, he had demons.
Yeah.
And I mean, just recently, he was just arrested for a DUI. That's why he was in jail in the first place. And I know this is something that I think Morrow might be the best person at this point to get this out there more, but I do think it might be time that we start looking at ourselves a little bit more and start talking about mental health in a more open forum.
It's past time that needed to happen.
Because I'm not saying it wouldn't have happened. Because life's crazy sometimes.
It is.
And I know that he was probably hitting rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like I said, we knew he had his demons. I know he drank a lot. I think if we were able to have these open conversations about mental health, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm getting deep, but it's been one of those days. We'll lighten it up in a minute. If we could have these conversations, stuff like this won't happen. It'll be less frequent than what we're seeing it. Because right now, it's a lot.
It is.
My probably best memory with him is from the Royal Rumble 2000. Yeah, this is a weird one. Okay. Him and Scotty 2 Hotty are in the Royal Rumble match. Then Rikishi comes in. Because they were all part of a faction.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the Royal Rumble, they start doing their dance and stuff. And then Rikishi eliminates both of them. But the pop they got, that's a moment that will be etched in stone forever. So, our thoughts and condolences with the families of all 3 who passed.
Yeah.
This was not an easy thing to talk about. I don't like talking about anyone passing away. It just makes me sad. And today's been one of those days, like, seeing Meltzer's tweets and Ryan Satin from Pro Wrestling Sheet and seeing other wrestlers in the community. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't cry until I saw a post from Jerry Lawler. And it was on his podcast, which, I mean, it could have been his host do it, but it was on his podcast page.
Yeah.
And it was just a picture of him and Brian. And I'm like, crap. And it's heartbreaking.
It is.
Brian, I don't... 40s, I know that.
46.
Way too young.
Yeah.
So, guys, keep all the families of the 3 men lost in your thoughts. Send positive vibes their way. Let's talk about some happy stuff.
Please.
Oh. The big news from WWE this week is that Stephanie McMahon on Raw announced the very first all-women's pay-per-view. And we talked a little bit last week that was going to happen. Yeah,
it was known that this is going to happen. This is to make up for the ladies not being able to go to
Saudi Arabia. Okay, so we did not cover what we thought the backlash would be on the social media accounts. And you have not heard this yet.
Okay.
There are a select group of douche nozzles that say, "Where's an all men's pay-per-view?" Are you fucking
They already
kidding?
had it.
Oh no, we could
They
do this.
already did it.
Like, I got pissed when I read that. So I went, okay, so first of all, you have the greatest Royal Rumble ever that had no women.
Yeah.
And then you could probably go back and count all the different pay-per-views from 1985 until now that had no women's matches. Grow the fuck up.
And you still have tons of promotions that have completely separate men's and women's. Look at New Japan. Look at Ring of Honor. They have all men's pay-per-views all over the place.
Well, not Ring of Honor anymore.
Well, sometimes.
More so, not as much now compared to 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 to 3 years ago, yeah.
And yes, there is women. There are women completely separate, though. But this is literally an all-women's pay-per-view to make up for the fact that they had an all-men's pay-per-view.
Stephanie and Triple H are calling this the WrestleMania for the women.
Oh.
And it might be a yearly thing.
Okay.
That's kind of a big
really
step.
Cool. They are trying so hard to bring women's wrestling to a forefront, and it is great to see.
Did other companies beat them? Yes. We are not going to sit here and go, did Impact put on these all-women pay-per-views first? Yeah. They sure as hell did.
Lots of other places did it, but
Shimmer.
They don't have this type of
global reach.
As
much as I love Impact, and as much as, because Impact's on fire right now. By the way, if you've not watched Impact, you need to do so. I've caught a little bit again. I've caught a little bit of Slammiversary. My God, I want to sit down and finish the Sami Callihan Penta L0M match. Because it's just brutal.
That just sounds wonderful.
Oh, God, it's brutal.
I love Sami Callihan, though.
Which is weird, because you don't like hardcore wrestling.
I know! Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Move on. Leave it alone. Move on.
He actually gets hit with a wooden spike in this match.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Callahan. Do you want to talk about someone who actually came from WWE and had that moment where it's like they fucked him up so bad, and then outside WWE, he's just a megastar? It's him. Him and Juice Robinson now
they've
are
done
tearing
that
down.
a lot recently. And I say recently, I mean in the past 5 to 8 years.
I mean, okay, so Cody. Cody's probably the biggest name off that list. Sami Callihan, Juice Robinson, Wade Barrett to a lesser extent. Yeah. He's not wrestling, but he's always in the British wrestling scene. Jack Swagger's not. I think Jack Swagger's perfectly fine. He main event shows. He's having great matches in MLW. Good. That's good.
Austin Aries.
Okay, Austin Aries might be I forgot about that. The guy who's collecting championships.
Not that he didn't have a great run before his time in WWE.
Oh, but his run in WWE sucked.
They screwed him up. They messed up Drew McIntyre the first time.
And Drew left and made a bigger name of himself, and then they brought him back.
And he's doing very well for himself.
Oh, Drew's going to be Universal Champion.
He's doing much better for himself this time.
But I
say for himself. It was never his fault.
When I saw him main eventing a house show with Jinder Mahal, part of my heart just got really happy. I'm like, all that's missing is Heath Slater, and we've got it.
They have all three.
On the same show.
And they have all the 3 Shield members. Can we just do
Shield versus 3-man band? The reunion tour. Just have them wrestle matches throughout the different towns. The All Women's pay-per-view has a rumored main event. And we were talking about this last week. One of the things that I feel might be hard on this show is putting 10,000 people in the building.
Sometimes you just have to look at butts and seats. And you're never going to get as many people for a women's pay-per-view as you are a men's. You're just not.
I think we're going to get a good and healthy number because it is something special.
I expect it to be good, but you're not going to pull in the casual person. Like, there are some people that even for pay-per-views, they realize the day of or the day before, hey, this is in my city, I'm going to go to it. And that's how you get your fillers for all of the random seats that didn't sell.
And not to mention...
It's not going to happen for a women's pay-per-view.
And not to mention, if you look at social media and talking... Like, a lot of people were so excited for this moment. And honestly, rightfully should be excited for this moment.
Yes.
But then there's those guys who I said, where's my all men's pay-per-view, which is just complete douchery. And those guys that say, there's a former WCW announcer, and I'm not going to name him by name. I will not name this fucker by name. There is a former WCW announcer that likes to attack women's wrestling in such a way, it makes him come across as a sexist prick.
Why?
It's just on Twitter. And because he seems bitter. Like he has a vendetta on Sasha Banks as there is no tomorrow.
What did she do to him?
I don't know. But he hates her.
Did she stand him up on a date 20 years ago?
I don't know. Like he comes across on Twitter, and like I said, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but he comes across on Twitter as such an arrogant prick. Like he knows so much more about wrestling. He talks about how this all women's pay-per-view is going to be nothing but botches and half-star matches, and nobody's going to give a fuck because it's women.
And granted, there are people that feel that way.
And that's where I'm going with this, because those people are the ones WWE has to prove wrong.
I fully believe that they have the talent pool to do that. I don't know that they have ever had a stronger women's division than what they have right now.
This is the strongest
main
women's
roster and NXT, especially together, I don't think they have ever had a stronger women's division.
And the few legends they're going to pull in is fine, because Trish Stratus is probably the biggest name in women's wrestling ever. Lita, that's awesome. You know, you're going to pull in some others.
They're probably going to pull in another female on commentary. Maybe Beth Phoenix again.
I think they're going to do Renee Young and Beth Phoenix on commentary. I think the lead commentator might actually be a female, too.
I think it should be. Those
two
women
awesome.
have proven themselves.
Which would be fantastic.
Renee has proven herself that she could make it on the commentary team.
Beth Phoenix was great and one of the biggest highlights for the Mixed Match Challenge I've ever experienced.
She was. And I feel like they could be really good together. And this is phenomenal. And I think they should do start to finish across the board, all women. For everything.
For the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're going.
Like all of your commentary.
They have two
all
female
of your
refs as well.
All of your commentary, all of your announce team, referees, backstage interviews. It would be phenomenal.
Which, I mean, they got great backstage people too.
They do.
So, but the thing I'm going with is, and this former announcer who, by the way, guys, if you really want to know something, never fucking made it. He was just there.
So it wasn't even good.
No, you'll hear his voice occasionally. Like, it's not something you're going to go. If you heard his voice on a pay-per-view, part of your mind would go, who the fuck is that guy? So that sums that up. But he talks so horribly about women, and it makes me go, you know, this is kind of what's wrong with the views on women's wrestling. I can remember, you tell me 10 years ago, I sat down and watched a match. It would be the bathroom break. I'm not going to lie about it. That would be the match that would cause me to go, yeah, I'm done.
Well, if you look back 10 years ago, how many actual competitors did you have? Like, not how many people in the division, how many competitors.
Well, the thing is with that would be the matches only went 2.5 minutes. Like 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You just can't get invested in 2 minutes. You just can't. It's not possible.
Even just 10 years ago, it was just for looks and for show and to prove that there were women there.
Thanks, Laurinaitis.
It was more about the entrance and the outfit.
And some of the entrances were fantastic, though. But a lot of those girls, too, that they hired for their looks did improve a shit ton.
This is true.
The Bellas?
Yeah.
I went from completely going, they can't wrestle at all, to being just completely sold on Brie and Nikki by the time their runs have come to an end. Other than that storyline, you should have died in the womb. But that's a whole other thing. We don't talk about that.
So sometimes you just have to gloss over some stuff.
Kelly started out as an exhibitionist dancer who had no idea how to dance.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Pritchard tells a story on the WWE CW show on their podcast network, not the one on the WWE network, that Vince was teaching her how to shake her ass. And I want to see that video. Because I know it's there. I know they recorded that.
They had to.
I want to see that video. But Kelly got really good in the ring, too. Eve Torres was a person they brought in from the Diva Search. And by the time she left the company, she was well respected because she would do anything to try to make herself better. A lot of people remember her feud with Beth Phoenix. Michelle McCool, the Undertaker's wife, was just a school teacher in the Diva Search. And she became one of the most over characters ever in the heel, like for a heel woman. So, I mean, those the people they hired on looks.
Some of them turned out really
Some of
great.
them clicked. And honestly, you're going to be looked upon as, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have got to here. Because if they hadn't have tried harder, we may have never got to here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that era is completely forgotten about, too. And I want to keep that Diva Search era, which gave us some really shitty people. But it also gave us this group that we still talk about. But not in a negative light.
No, and it's all about moving forward.
Oh, that's the
and
point.
Everything
Evolution.
Every generation is supposed to get better, and look at what there is now.
Oh, by far.
This is amazing. And there's nothing that I don't think there's anything that these girls can't do. They're phenomenal athletic talents.
I think the first women's match that I actually introduced you to, the first one that I remember you sitting down watching me from start to finish, was Becky Lynch. Or no, it was Bayley and Sasha at that takeover. Because that was when we first started to get... That's like right when we first started dating.
Yeah.
And that was a really good match.
It was a really good match.
And it made me go, I have faith in women's wrestling.
Yeah.
Bayley and Sasha Banks, and to a lesser extent, Paige and AJ Lee, gave me hope. And then all of a sudden, I started seeing more NXT matches, and I'm like, this is awesome. That's all this is. And every time the women's division, you think it's going to hell in NXT, somehow it just erupts with a bunch of names at once. It happened last year. We thought the division was dead. And then all of a sudden, poof, the Iconics popped up, and Ember Moon popped up bigger. And you're like, what? Nikki Cross became a huge name. Just Ruby Riott. And those women carried it. This is going to be a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
Like, all of these women have wrestled together their entire careers, with the exception of maybe Charlotte and Ronda Rousey. Because they've wrestled with all these other women.
Well, no, Ronda has wrestled with all these women for her entire wrestling career.
Well, no, what I meant was...
It's just been like...
3 matches.
3 matches.
What I meant was, like, when you look at the indies...
Yeah.
And they always show the highlight packages, you're like...
It's everybody beating up Ruby Riott.
Yeah, no, it's sad. But that's what I'm getting at, because you'll see Nikki Cross in a shimmer ring, and you'll see, Ruby Riott, and... I can't even think now. My mind blanked all at once. Just poof. Shayna Baszler comes from that circuit. And that's where we're going. The rumored main event for Evolution is the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 horsewomen. That's a money match. I'm a little sad it's not happening at Survivor Series.
I feel like it would be better suited for Survivor Series. I understand wanting to make this a huge deal.
You could do a rematch at Survivor. Look, you could possibly do a rematch at Survivor Series, where one team wins, like it's just one person gets pinned, and then the next month be like, look, we're going to rematch this at Survivor Series, but it's elimination this time. And
I think that would be pretty wonderful.
Because that's a match that legit would make me want to go.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to now. Like, the Mae Young finals is going to be at this show. So you've got 2 matches possibly already getting set.
And then that all of the championships are going to be defended at this show.
Yes.
Which, granted, we don't know who's going to be the champion or who's going to be...
Well, if Ronda beats Alexa at SummerSlam, that's out.
Yeah.
Because if they do the 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen, I'm pretty sure Becky and Charlotte are going to be women's champions going into that show. Because I think Becky beats Carmella at SummerSlam.
I hope Becky beats Carmella at SummerSlam.
Carmella's a great heel.
It's not that I don't love Carmella. That is not what I'm getting at.
Carmella's a great heel.
It's not that I don't love Carmella, but
it's Becky Lynch. And
it's Becky Lynch.
So that's where we're at. I think this all women's pay-per-view is going to be great. And I think they have... Okay, so here's one of my gripes. WWE's got to do something for this show that's special. You cannot use your same fucking set. You have to go out of your way to make something to make this show look different.
And for the love of God, don't make it all pink.
Have you seen the logo?
No.
It's like a blue smoke.
Cool.
It's kind of nice. So hopefully that's what WWE does.
You know there is someone somewhere that girls means pink.
It's probably every guy online who hated this show idea.
Yeah. It's like, please, for the love of God, don't make it pink.
Is there going to be botches? Probably. There's botches on every show. Shut the fuck up. Shit.
Give me one entire show top to bottom where somebody did not mess up something.
And you probably wouldn't even tell that they messed up.
No, because a lot of times when there's a botch, it translates well.
It does. There's a lot of times
unless
where
it's
you can...
really, really bad.
Yeah, no. The Sid leg thing is... So
and
other
a lot of the really, really bad one happened in men's matches, by the way.
Yeah.
Because they tried more dumb shit.
Speaking of women's wrestling. No. Speaking of women's wrestling, I've got to talk about some women's... We're going to talk about women's wrestling later, too. That's kind of awesome locally. But next up, Rock says he wants to wrestle at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Are you okay with this?
I mean, I really don't care one way or the other.
It is The Rock.
I don't believe he needs the main event spot.
Okay, that's the thing.
That is the problem here.
Because you're worried about that.
I don't care who he is.
The champion
that should
be
not
last.
be the main event spot.
I'm still on the firm belief that the champion should always be last.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we don't get that anymore in WWE, and I don't get it. You're devaluing those championships so much. AJ Styles holds the longest tenured belt in your company, and you can't even put that in the main event of a pay-per-view where your the Universal Champion won't show up to your fucking company to do more than 4 dates a year. That's shitty. Like, I like the Intercontinental title, don't get me wrong. And occasionally those secondaries should.
Every so often, having something else be the big draw is fine.
Okay, Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins, 30 minutes.
The Iron Man match,
makes sense.
that would have been fine, and nobody would have batted an eye at it being the main event if AJ had some of the main events around it.
Yeah, no, it's like, let's go back a month prior. Money in the Bank. Or, well, they did the Money in the Bank match. The May pay-per-view. Whatever the May pay-per-view was that Roman was in the main event, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
What the hell? Why? I don't remember who Roman was against, but it was shitty. Like, why is this the main event? Why isn't the main event AJ Styles defending the WWE Championship against Shinsuke? Why isn't that your money match? Like, it bothers me. They don't care about, and I get it. This is the Russo thought. It's just a prop. And that's
not how that's supposed to be.
No, and after seeing the NWA World Title like that close up, like we've seen it 2 weeks in a row now, and I know that after seeing that championship, the championship should be more than a fucking prop. Because that, I just feel there should be some prestige there.
Yeah,
and there's not. Like, why? Why can't we just put the WWE champion in a main event one time? Why is this so difficult? Like, he's not even in the main event on SmackDowns. But, I mean, SmackDown's at least a good show now, because fuck, Raw went down the crap hole.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah, no, I don't understand why they won't put AJ in the main event. And I know they're big on him. I think he's the number 1 or number 2 merch seller. Why not push him? Why not give him that spotlight that he deserves? But no. We're going to give it, and I don't hate Roman. I'm not a Roman hater.
I am very much over Roman.
I'm over him too, but I don't hate him. It's that
and that's not necessarily anything against him.
And that's not his fault. That's creative's fault.
But I am so over Roman Reigns.
Well, let's go back to Raw Monday. Okay, so just talking on that. Roman and Lashley have a match to determine the number one contender for the Universal Champion at SummerSlam.
Yep.
And guess who wins?
Roman.
You just did 2 fucking Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar matches this year. Neither one of them were good at all. And yet, you are thinking that you're going to put that match for a third time in front of a New York crowd. If you think WrestleMania was bad, holy crap. Because they're going to crap on that match. And I know they're going to crap on that match.
No matter what happens.
It is Beach Ball Mania going to be running wild at SummerSlam. I can just see that one coming. They are going to make that match look like the biggest piece of crap ever.
And God knows what they're going to chant through that match.
It's New York fans. I expect anything. I really do. I expect anything from the New York fans. And that's a hardcore wrestling fan show, too, because SummerSlam is one of the big four, so you know you're going to get hardcore fans at it, because they're doing a whole weekend now.
Yeah.
This is not a good idea.
No, it's not. The best idea here would be to give Roman Reigns 6 to 8 weeks off.
The best idea here... and
Go home, take a break, enjoy your family, come back in October.
Come back after Evolution. That's all I ask. As I still have this... There's part of me that thinks they might just muck it up and do something dumb. Because there is a rumor floating out there that, like, one of the ways they're talking about getting Roman over is by turning Braun into a misogynist in a storyline with Alexa and Roman coming to her rescue.
But Braun and Alexa are adorable together.
I know, they're fun.
They need to be nice to each other.
I don't get it. It's a terrible story. When I read that, I went, I'm done. If they pull that shit, I will be done completely with Raw. Like, it's taking me a lot now because I don't even care anymore about Raw. Like, I will watch SmackDown every week, but Raw right now, I cannot sit through.
We usually watch highlights.
No, the Hulu version's an hour and a half of just what's good. I'm cool with that. Like, I didn't
You see all the matches that way?
Yeah, no, it's
you
fine.
hit the high points of what was important, and if there's something really big that happens,
I'll search it out.
You can Google it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. But hell, if you have a fire broke jail stick or
fire broke jail stick,
a jailbroke fire stick, you can find it on there. Fire broke jail stick. All right,
you need to trademark that
T-shirt. God, fire broke jail stick. That's a T-shirt. By the way, you can get shirts. You can get all of our shirts at our store, Shop TBK, tbkmagazine.com/shoptbk. And guys and gals, because I'm not going to leave you out too, Sexy Wrestling Donut is in the store tomorrow. And I'm sorry I haven't got around to doing that. But I'm also going to tell you what else is going in the store. If you stick around on August 1st, we are going to have the biggest promotion we have ever done.
Ooh.
And all I'm going to say is, if they can go all in, we can go all in.
That's just in time for my birthday.
It is just in time for your birthday. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks. Am I going to get a T-shirt for my birthday?
Yes, actually. You're getting we're getting T-shirts for StarCast. I'm going to get you our TBK SNS T-shirts.
Okay.
As well as whatever one you want.
I might need a Sexy Wrestling Donut.
It's got a championship belt on it and googly eyes, and it's a donut, and it has muscles, and it's funny. No legs, but god dang, it's funny.
Why doesn't it have legs?
I didn't want to put legs on the donut.
Well, then how is it walking? Does it have arms?
Yeah.
How does it have arms and no legs?
I don't know. It's a sexy donut.
It ain't got no legs.
It had no legs. I thought about doing stick legs.
It's kind of what I expected.
Yeah. So it's like giant muscle arms and just stick legs. Fucking donut. Walked out on leg day.
Perfect.
Yeah. So other big news this week. The Rock said The Rock wrestling again. We kind of talked about, let's do it. Is there anyone you want to see him up against? Like, is there anyone on the roster that you could go Rock versus would be fun?
Not particularly.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, I know what match they're probably going to do. It's going to be Rock Brock. I know that's where they're going to go. But I can't think of a match on the roster that I'm like,
I mean, that's not saying that it wouldn't be fine.
They might go Roman against Rock.
Like, I don't have a problem with any of this. It's just, I'm not excited to see The Rock particularly, but I don't have any kind of
ill will.
I have no feelings towards him.
Because you weren't around.
Because I wasn't around. Like, in my mind,
he's the Tooth Fairy.
He's the Tooth Fairy. Like, he's an action movie star. That's what I've seen him more as. And early Rock days.
With the hair?
With the hair.
I got to show you some of his videos from Memphis.
And before he became The Rock.
Where he was Flex Cavana.
Oh, God.
That's a name right there. That's a Vince
Flex
McMahon.
Cavana.
That's a Vince McMahon came up with name if I've ever heard one. Flex Cavana. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's bad. It's not good.
Oh, God.
Guys, we're now going to transition into All In because this is where we're at now. Don't forget, StarCast is coming up. Get your tickets for StarCast.com. You can get general admission for $49 for all 4 days. And they're selling passes at the door each day for $20. Except for Thursday, I think. Plus, if you just want to come and show up to something and you're in the Chicago area, Busted Open Radio, which is hosted by, I can't think of the one guy's name, and I'm going to get hate mail about it. And Brother Ray, or Bully Ray, is going to be doing a live 3-hour show to the public on Friday morning to kick off all in weekend.
Cool.
So that'll be pretty awesome. I'm really super excited for that.
It's exciting stuff.
8 to 11 in the morning.
That's real early.
Yeah, no. But I feel like there's going to be breakfast and there's going to be a lot of wrestling fans there and they're going to interview fans for Sirius and it's going to be pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
They have a great show if you haven't listened to it. A new match was announced for All In this week, and it is not a match I knew I wanted until they announced it.
Okay.
They announced that Joey Janela would take on, with Penelope Ford in his corner, would take on the Hangman. Well, I was going to say the Hangman Page, and I'm like, no, that sounds dumb in my head. And then I went ahead and even still said the Hangman, and it still sounded dumb in my head. It's Joey Janela versus Hangman Page at All In.
Nice.
Hangman's tweet. I've killed one Joey. Might as well make it 2.
Epic.
I am so excited for this match. I did not know I needed it. But I know that Joey Janela is a tad crazy. And he's on my wrestling bucket list now just because that show we watched WrestleMania weekend was so fucking fun.
Joey Janela's spring break.
And they're doing another one SummerSlam weekend.
Nice.
Joey Janela is Lost in New York.
Oh, God.
And there's a lot. That looks to be awesome, too.
But the real question here is there a clusterfuck?
You know, I think we haven't talked about that. All In, there's part of me that thinks there's going to be a battle royal at All In.
Okay.
I don't know why, but there's always part of me that thinks this is a whole new show. Let's throw a bunch of guys.
You just want battle royals.
I like battle royals, but they could do a Royal Rumble style match and just say screw it. I mean, they won't, but they could. I figure in the next coming weeks, we got to know the Bucks match, right?
Maybe.
I figure they're announcing the BTE members matches. There's 4 weeks left. We don't know the Bucks match.
Yeah.
We don't know Omega's match.
Yeah.
We don't know Mysterio's.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I think they're going to go.
But we know some matches and they're awesome.
Huh?
But we know some matches and they're awesome.
Well, we know Marty and Okada, which the build on this last episode of BTE was amazing. It is Marty and Nick Aldis sharing a moment where Aldis is like, I hear you're taking on Okada at All In. Are you sure you can handle a heavyweight? You're a junior. And Marty just fires off, like gets mad, just throws stuff everywhere. And Nick goes, if you want some inspiration, would you like to hold the NWA World title for just a minute? I was like, that's awesome. That was awesome. I feel like I got something trapped in my throat right now.
I feel like holding that would give you a lot of inspiration.
No, that belt's gorgeous. And so Marty holds the championship, and there's just this light that comes, oh, and then he puts it down going, I can kick Okada's ass. And just walks out. I was like, yes. Yes. The Ballad of Flip Gordon continues. Flip Gordon was given a $20 gift card to the Cracker Barrel from Cody as a consolation because Cody was like, I like you now, but you're still not booked. Here's a gift card to Cracker Barrel. All right. I think this is a conversation we have to discuss now because we talked about it last week, and I think this is going to be a running thing for the next 4 weeks. Flip Gordon on All In or not?
I need him to be, and I'm saying yes. And if he's not, I'm very sad, and I might not be able to talk about it.
I have this feeling that we're going to see Flip Gordon try to get into the events all weekend long. I think it's going to be Flip just trying to break into the StarCast constantly. Like the All In pressers Friday night at 6. I could see Flip Gordon being in there with like the reporter thing on again.
More than anything, I think I need Flip to come out of one of the Bears. More than anything, I think that's what I need in life.
The way they're building this story in BTE, which I cannot believe we're talking BTE and storylines. Like, this is crazy to me. A YouTube show is doing better storylines than the biggest company in the world.
It's because they're trying harder.
Yeah, well. But the story with Flip tells me that the main event of All In should be Flip Gordon and Cody Rhodes. I know it's not. But the main event for All In should be Flip Gordon and Cody Rhodes. I don't know why I feel that way. I think it's just that build.
You were way too invested in Flip.
Oh my God. I got to talk about that for like the last couple of weeks. And I told you I've been doing this whole like
You're
swirling ideas thing. I've become so invested in the Flip Gordon because it all started when we saw him at Survival of the Fittest when we went to the Ring of Honor show in November.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And I started attaching myself then. And now seeing Flip progress, I'm like, I just want to see Flip do something amazing now. Completely. I could see Flip attacking Bully Ray while they're on the radio. Because they're playing that storyline in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
You can play it and have them go at it at All In. So I don't know how that's going to work. I know Flip Gordon's going to end up on the show.
He has to.
Just because it's a running story. So
I will leave All In very highly disappointed and not be able to speak to people on Sunday if he's not.
Well, we kind of have to speak to people on Sunday.
You have to speak to people on Sunday.
Thanks.
I can sit behind a microphone and glare at people.
Oh, God, I hope it's not either.
I'm taking a vow of silence.
If Flip Gordon's nowhere near All In. We don't know who's going to show up in the Bears is something to discuss, I think, at some point, because we really don't know who's going to be in the stupid bear suits at all. We just don't. And that's awesome.
I still really want a match between the Bears, but
I think that's going to happen. I think you're going to get a match between Barry and Bernard, and then they're going to announce it. And then right before the match starts, they're going to have to remove their heads.
I hope they don't.
They'll have to do it at some point.
Could get accidentally knocked off at some point, or they could be revealed after the match.
You cannot theoretically have a match in that bear head. Like, I know we talked about the Kaiju Big Battle.
Kaiju Big Battle does it.
But that bear head, the Bernard bear head, is a huge head. After seeing it live, that is a huge mascot head.
It is an average size mascot.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't think you could wrestle in the...
I think you could. If someone can wrestle in a 5x5 waffle suit...
You guys haven't seen Kaiju Big Battle.
You can wrestle in a bear head.
You need to, guys. You need to see it.
They are a full waffle. Full foam waffle.
Wasn't Kaiju Big Battle just fun to watch?
It was weird as shit.
But we watched it.
We paid to watch it.
We did. We paid for it on the Fight app. Hey, if you're not able to attend Chicago, you can get StarCast on the Fight app at fighttv.com or the Fight TV app. Download it now. Purchase StarCast, and you have a part of the all-in ring canvas for just $149. Sales in soon. I know that for a fact. All right. Last night, we took a trip to Cape to see Cape Championship Wrestling, and we've talked about them before.
We have.
We love going to Cape.
We do.
Probably one of the best independents in our area, hands down.
It is.
Speaking of Flip Gordon, last night's show, the two main guests they brought in was Flip Gordon and Nick Aldis. And I gotta tell you, last night's show was pretty fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm gonna start and kind of talk about things that caught me off guard. Number one, we watched the greatest ref bump in the history of pro wrestling last night. Farmer Billy Hills, which is this farmer redneck who will kick your ass.
He carries a very large stick.
He does carry a very large stick, and it's named Georgia.
It's named Georgia.
Was having a match against Damone. And I'll link him. I'll link everybody on our website, tvkmagazine.com, just so you can go check out their Facebook pages or Twitter.
And you totally should.
So he brings in a bottle of moonshine, moonshine. It's in like the ceramic old school bottle.
Jug.
It's a jug. Ceramic jug with 3 X's on it, which cracked me up. And he drinks. He hands it to Damone, says, "Be a man." They go back and forth there. The crowd starts chanting for the ref to take a drink. The ref takes a drink and passes out. The most amazing ref bump I've ever seen in pro wrestling. Because how long was he down for? Like a minute?
Yeah.
It was awesome. Never seen that before.
Continued to be drunk for a little while longer into the match.
It was great. It was awesome.
He's a great ref, though.
He is a great ref. Shout out to CeeLo, I think is his name.
Yeah, it is.
Then we get to see a women's tag match, which I am going to tell you now, I have seen the future of women's wrestling, and it looks good.
It's a big word.
It is. It is. If you don't know who Savannah Stone is, look her up. That girl has passion. She was trained in Illinois, I believe.
Okay.
I know who trained her, but I don't want to talk about him on a show because I know a lot of people don't like him. There's a lot to that.
Okay.
And I still don't know the story, so that's the only reason why I'm not bringing that up. But Savannah Stone is amazing. Tootie Ramsey is amazing.
And adorable.
No, she is. She is. And also did a suicide dive that caught all of us by just off guard last night. Amazing women's match. Tootie was teamed with Marnie Gras, who wrestles in our area for a while.
Yeah.
And Savannah was teamed with Sarah Summers, who also wrestles in the area.
Yes.
It was a good match. That was probably one of my favorite matches of the show because there was so much story being told in that one match. I can't wait to see how that one comes across on TV.
Yeah.
They're probably going to have to bleep Savannah Stone
a
lot.
She is very passionate.
I like that, though.
She is very passionate.
She is someone you need to be watching. She'll end up in the WWE. Someone's going to sign her to a big deal. It's either WWE or Impact, but someone's going to sign that girl to a huge freaking deal. It's going to happen. She's got a lot of talent. Yes, probably sooner than later. Next up was... I don't even know what was next. My mind just went completely...
I have slept since then.
No, my mind just went...
I know what matches happened. I don't know what order they happened.
I'm going to sound like a douche, because if I'm wrong, I'm hoping that maybe they have their poster up still that has all the matches on it, because my mind's just completely blank, because I don't think the Triple Threat was next.
No, there was one more.
Like, you couldn't get that next, could you?
Was it the tag match? No, the tag match was after.
Yeah, the tag match came back after. My God, man,
I have watched too much wrestling in the last month. You have dragged me to Nashville. You have dragged me to Cape. You dragged me to Cape last month. And you took me to Cape the month before that.
Was it Mathis? Was it Matthias?
Maybe, yes.
Matthias versus Joey O'Reilly for the Pure Championship. And the Pure Championship is pretty much the equivalent of the never open weight in Japan.
Everything's legal. Beat the crap out of each other.
20 count.
Congratulations.
It was a good match.
It was.
Billy Hill, the referee, gets distracted because of Billy Hills, and Joey O'Reilly loses. Then Joey O'Reilly hits Billy Hills in the ding ding. It's a good match. Matthias is I don't want to piss that guy off.
He looks legit scary.
I know. That's I've seen a picture of him in a suit, and I'm like, it's not so bad, but no, I'm still kind of terrified of you. Like, I don't want to meet you in an alley because I will run and pee myself. Like, that's exactly how I feel when I see this guy.
Big scary dude.
The first half of the show ends with the Cape Championship Wrestling World Heavyweight title. And it's Jackson Crowley who won it. And we talked about his match before, but guys, I'm going to tell you now. They have a YouTube page. You need to go watch Jackson Crowley and Ace Hawkins from April. Mm-hmm. And Jackson Crowley and Marco from last month.
Yes.
Or 2 months ago. May. That was May. Because they are two of the best matches I've ever seen live. This match was Jackson defending the championship against Marco and Flip Gordon. Yes, the Flip Gordon. The same Flip Gordon that's not booked for All In. But he was booked on this show, and my God, the three of them have freaking chemistry out the wazoo. I did not expect that. Because, when you bring in someone in...
Yeah, you can have chemistry between guys that are in your own local promotion, but when you have a great match with the star that comes in, that's saying something.
No, Flip came across awesome in this match. Pinned the CCW champion. They turned it into a triple threat elimination match, which made all the fans kind of go, why? When Flip Gordon pinned Jackson, everybody in that front row looked at each other and went, what the fuck? Like, everybody. We were sitting there talking to a couple of the fans that were sitting next to us, and even they were just in shock at that moment. And then Marco rolls up Flip Gordon for the 1-2-3 and becomes the CCW champion. Look up Marco's stunt.
He is 3 feet of fury.
His shirts is him portrayed as a Rugrats character. It's fantastic.
He has a fanny pack.
He does. Oh my God, what's the song he comes out to?
Girl.
Yeah, my mind just...
I can sing the song.
Go for it.
I won't.
I'll give you $1.
No.
I don't know the name of the song. I cannot tell you the name of the song. We'll get back to that.
Hang on. I'm out of it.
Well, we need to keep going.
You keep going.
Well, I need you to talk to me. So
okay.
Don't worry about it. We'll look up the song. We'll tell you next week. The triple threat match, unbelievable. Their first and CCW is going to be on TV in Cape. But my God, when that moment happened, the entire place went nuts.
We Belong.
There we go.
Pat Benatar.
There we go. I knew it was a Pat Benatar song, but I couldn't think of it.
All I can do is sing it.
So that was a great match. Then we get intermission. We come back. We get Roscoe Eat Lisa, who we've talked about on this show before as possibly one tag team that is going to make it.
They made me so happy.
They broke up. They got back together. And I'm so excited for this.
They didn't break up because they were mad. They broke up because one of them moved.
Yeah. And now they're back. And my God, they tore down the house last night. They did this turtle spot. Like, I'm in my shell. You can't get to me. Great moment. Great moment.
And the same ref did the turtle spot as well.
I love that ref. I love CeeLo. That guy's awesome.
And then did the worm. Because he always does the worm. That's his thing.
It is his thing. He came out of the shell to do the worm. If you have not looked up Roscoe Eat Lisa, you need to. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of guys in this company that you could see going forward. Like, when you're in independent. Okay, there's 3 steps, I think, to independent wrestling. You've got your ones that run weekly. Mm-hmm. That are your hometown guys. And I don't say this to be mean, but is almost in that backyard kind of feel. Like, some are trained, but some aren't. Like, I mean, you can tell when they're trained.
It's a backyard guy that got lucky enough to find an indoor arena.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a few guys in there that are actually can wrestle, and they're going to try to teach you how to go. But most of the time, it's guys that probably shouldn't be near a ring. Yeah. There's your second tier that runs occasional shows, but you don't see them very often. He'll bring in a couple. Like, they don't ever bring in big names, and which we have one of those around here, too.
We do.
And then there's shows like Cape, where they're going to feature their guys. in such a way that they're going to be on the same level as the guys they bring in. And that's something that if you want to take the next step, you have to do.
Yes.
Because I've seen now the besties in the world on Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know who they are, look them up. They're amazing too. But I've seen them on Ring of Honor in the Future of Honor matches.
Yeah.
They actually won and took on the Briscoes on a Ring of Honor TV episode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
So when you see when you see guys like this, and Roscoe Elisa took on KC's Finest, who I like them, by the way.
Yeah.
It could be the fact they're from Kansas City.
It still weirds me out to see somebody wrestling barefoot.
Yeah, I never got it.
I mean, I prefer to do things barefoot, but that's
a good match.
Whole other argument.
I love Roscoe Elisa.
They are fun. They're weird. They're energetic. They're really good in the ring. They do crazy stuff that you probably shouldn't do because there is no padding on that floor. Please
that's
don't
something.
die.
That's something we got at some point. Please, I'll buy the padding. Just let's get some padding on that floor because hearing body smack it is the worst sound in the world. I thought Savannah Stone had died when she hit the ground.
Like I'm seeing backs and elbows and knees connecting with this friggin' tile concrete floor. It's like you're gonna lose something. Like something is gonna pop out of place. Something is gonna break. Please don't do this anymore.
The best example of this is remember the floor at your school?
Yeah,
it's that flooring.
Mm-hmm.
And you know if you hit that floor, it was gonna hurt.
Yeah. And they're throwing themselves at it full force.
Or flying through the air onto the floor.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we almost got really close and personal with Mikey. Yeah. So next up is Brandon Barbwire and Justin the Juice Smart. And I told you when we saw Justin Smart for the first time, I kind of like that guy because he's a dick. Yeah. I like him more now because he's a dick. I like the character. I love guys that are dicks. I don't know why.
It's because you're a dick.
Well, Flip played a heel. And heel Flip is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Because you wanted to hate Flip Gordon.
He was just a little bit of a heel.
Little bit.
This wasn't full heel.
This was evil Flip.
This was semi-evil Flip.
Yeah, because there's an evil Flip character on Being the Elite. Because Cody's like, oh, I see you've got your evil Flip beard growing. It's great.
This is semi-evil Flip.
These two had a submission match. Ended with a towel thrown in spot. It was fun. Jake Durden, another guy who I don't ever want to see in an alley because I feel like he would kill me. And Hollis Jarreau, who was big in the Kansas City area.
His shirts are zombies.
Yeah, no. This guy's awesome. He wrestled in Pro Wrestling Noah. I mean, if you're going to wrestle in Japan, you've got something. I feel if you're an American wrestling in Japan, you have something.
Yeah.
This guy has the look. I mean, if I could compare him to someone, I don't want to say the Berserker because I don't think that's fair to him. But he's got that look of, he's got the Luke Harper kind of look.
That's what I was the best way to describe him is a bigger Luke Harper. Like he's taller and a little bit broader, got a little bit of a crazy look to him.
Yeah, no, that's concerned. Why I can't think.
You should be a little concerned.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a great quality about him. Like, he comes across, too, as just a star. Bruiser Brody. That's who he reminds. He's got that Bruiser Brody kind of feel, where he's got the curly hair and the really bushy beard, but you know he's probably a tad bit crazy. And I've seen some of his matches in Japan. They are crazy. He's in the crowd all the time. He threw people in the stands of Corkin Hall. Because, I mean, if you've wrestled in Corkin Hall, you're doing something right.
Yes.
And then the main event, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, Nick Aldis defends against Austin Lane as Austin Lane tries to interrupt plans for All In. This was an awesome match. And we were, being 3 feet from the 10 pounds of gold. It's amazing.
Like, it was right there. They held it up right on the other side of the barrier. It is so freaking pretty.
I just want to hold it. Like, that's the belt. That is the championship.
Can I touch it?
That defines so many careers. And go ahead.
No.
The dome globe on that thing is awesome. I hated that.
And I will admit, much bigger than I expected. Somebody else mentioned that. Like, yeah. I didn't realize it stuck up that far. No, it's It's crazy.
I hated that thing when I was watching the NWA TNA pay-per-views. Like, I hated that dome glove because I thought that looks trashy. I just don't like it. Now seeing it in person, I'm wrong. I'm a dumbass for that thought.
Nice.
That is the most gorgeous championship I think I've ever seen in person.
It was phenomenal. And you could tell, like, everybody was very concerned about it. Like, the ref was very concerned to be holding it. And they had the ring announcer actually sitting at ringside holding the belt. And the way that he was holding it.
It was like he just got presented with a giant plate of ham, and you don't know. Like, I mean, he was holding on to it. Like,
he was being so gentle with it and holding it exactly flat and in his lap, and he didn't touch it.
He didn't move. Like, it was just not moved.
Like, they handed it to him,
and he sat with his arms out the entire time.
The whole match. It's like, I don't want to touch it.
Because, I mean, it was so, like, it was delicate like a baby.
Yep.
It was just that, look, you know you're holding history in your hand. You have to treat it with sweet loving. And, I mean...
And then at one point, Austin Lane took it and was taking it back into the ring, and he was freaking out about it. It was great.
Well, not to mention, even when they the ref handed it back to him, it was really just like a soft, gentle handoff again. Like, it was great. Like
that's not the way that they treat their own championships. This is much...
They coddled the NWA
This is much bigger.
They coddled the NWA World Championship, and it was fantastic. But I'm going to say something that I did not realize, and I know I said this, I think, last week, but I never really knew how much it was going to come across. Nick Aldis might be the effing man, because at Ring of Honor, because you're around a bunch of bigger personalities, and you're not we weren't up close, and that kind of changes things. Mm-hmm. But at Ring of Honor, you're kind of outshined. Like,
you can be,
yeah. I mean, you're on the same card as the Bucks and Cody, and
those are other really big name guys that have a presence.
But seeing Nick Aldis, like, in person in, like, a very local setting, Nick Aldis comes across legit as a world champion.
Because he is.
I mean, the prestige he had, like, you can tell that the respect for the championship is there, and it's held in such a prestigious way. It's never going to change. I think this is the moment. I think the NWA title's coming back, and I think Nick Aldis is part of the reason. Because I don't know if anyone's carried themselves like Aldis does.
It's intense.
I've never seen a champion carry themselves with so much poise and just respect. And now I think just enjoying wrestling. Because, I mean, he looked like he had fun in Ring of Honor. But last night, him and Austin Lane tore down the house. Like, that match was, it blew me away. Like, seeing was someone that I actually enjoy as a person. Because we follow each other on Twitter. Be a heel. And me wanting to hate him and even knowing him, I'm like, I hate you right now, you jackass. That's what happened last night. And it's like, but if you win, that's freaking awesome. But I mean, Nick Aldis, man, jeez, if you haven't seen Aldis in person, I didn't think he came. Like, I've seen him in person before this.
He's a little intimidating.
I've seen him in person before this, and I've seen him at TNA. At TNA when they were doing the tour for Impact, and they were taping television in different locations. Aldis was one of the guys there. He didn't even come across as much of a star in that point. He didn't even come across as much of a star when he was holding the TNA World Heavyweight title.
He's coming to his own.
There's just something special about Nick Aldis. And I think this is why the main event for All In is Cody and Nick. That video package the NWA put out this week is
amazing.
Like, you get the Flip Gordon saga, and that's just unbelievable. And then you get the heartbreak of it. But at the end, it's Nick Aldis and Cody walking towards each other. I think on a stage that the Smashing Pumpkins were playing at. Because they were both at the show in Kentucky.
Yeah, well.
In the crowd. Walking across the stage with the All In logo behind them, and they just turn and look at it, like almost like the WrestleMania thing. But just them walking across the stage was enough for me to go, this is different. I don't know if anyone else could have pulled that off.
I fully expect these two people to have an absolutely amazing match.
That is going to be a fantastic moment. Even if Cody doesn't win, that's going to be a fantastic moment.
You don't have to win for it to be amazing.
And that's something, and Austin Lane came up short, but my God, Austin Lane wrestled for the NWA World title, and I was just super excited. Like, seeing against someone that you know and you've, like, got to see when you go into your indie shows locally, and seeing them wrestle for the biggest championship in wrestling, probably historic-wise.
Yeah.
Is insane. Because you got to take that sense of pride that your promotion just had an NWA World title match for the first time in Missouri since 1991.
27 years.
Shout out to Cape. Cape Championship Wrestling is one of those independents. Like, I think eventually I'll do a list of the top 10 independents.
They're killing it.
And if you were to look at Missouri, they are the best. And I've seen the other two independents that run Missouri, like two of the bigger ones. I love Harley Race's promotion, but even I'm like, I never came away from one of the Harley Race's shows like I do from theirs. Like, it's just tremendous wrestling top to bottom. And I want to see Marco on like the big stage now.
We got attached to him, and we've seen
that guy.
The genesis of Marco's stunt. We were there for his first CCW match.
It was awesome.
When we were there the first night that we went to Cape, we saw him
after the convention, yeah,
and he was wearing girl pants. 100% certain he was wearing girl pants. You can't say that he wasn't.
And he was he's a great heel, and he's a better face. I'm gonna try to get Marco on the show at some point.
I was real worried that he was just gonna be a bump machine.
He wasn't.
Like, I was real worried he's gonna wrestle. They're just gonna throw him around
that first match
like a rag doll.
Which Austin Lane, by the way, 20 years in wrestling. I mean, you can tell he loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so awesome to actually see the show last night. But Marco, I want to see Marco on the big stage. Like, Marco's going to kill it somewhere. I don't know where, but Marco's going to get to that point and kill it. I don't know if it'll be Impact. I don't know if it'll be Ring of Honor. I don't know if it'll be WWE. You know where I could see him? Lucha Underground.
He would fit in perfectly there.
If they continue. But Lucha Underground's
and
one.
He's the same size.
Lucha Underground's one. MLW would be a great place for Marco, too.
This is true.
I think Marco's going to be a huge star. He's only 21. Marco's going to be a huge star.
He's got tons of time and tons of talent.
I mean, a lot of those guys in Cape do.
And he's a world champion.
Jackson also comes across as a major star.
With an amazing character.
Yeah, that's a metamorphosis, too. If you haven't seen that whole story, that's great. So, guys, like I said, check out their website, capewrestling.com. Check out them on Facebook at Cape Championship Wrestling. I think I'm going to go next month. I don't know yet because I want to talk about something, but I also know that is the Saturday before All In. That's a week before All In, and I'm like, because I know I should probably put my focus on StarCast. But I don't know. Cape Championship Wrestling, guys. That was a fun show last night. I like them. I like what they put on up there. So
they do wonderful. They do a wonderful job.
I'm going to try to get some of them on the show at some point.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to introduce our audience more to more independence. And because look, WWE sucks right now. And I think what we've got to do as fans, and it's not that I don't hate the WWE because I don't. I love WWE.
They need to try harder.
We just need better stuff.
They need to know that there is real competition out there.
And I think we're going to say, I said this in a tweet at TBK Magazine on Twitter, that All In Weekend is the start of a wrestling revolution. And I know it's weird to say that, but we're going into something special. And I think over time, this is going to get looked back on as the show that started something big.
I sincerely hope so.
This is the equivalent of what I believe Starrcade will be, or Starrcade was. I think this is the equivalent of Starrcade in 2018. And Starrcade shut down a damn interstate. So I think this is something big and something that we're going to talk about forever.
I sincerely hope so.
But guys, that's going to wrap up this edition of SNS. It's been a somber one. It's been a weird one. We didn't know really how to come across this show because we were just sad with all the news today. And it's still kind of hard to talk about wrestling right now with everything that's happening. But Wednesday night, YWWE, our spinoff show, Ashley's learning about terrible wrestling matches. Because it goes with our bad gimmicks and there's going to be more bad gimmicks in that show, as well as bad matches. Bad gimmick matches. And I now know the 3 matches you have to see.
Okay.
And I am going to at least tell you 2 of them.
Okay.
Number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think this is a good way to end the show with some humor.
Yes.
Number 1. From New Blood Rising, August of 2000, which is a WCW pay-per-view. It is Canyon versus Buff Bagwell in a Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
I am in no way surprised that this is on the list.
This, honest to God, was the number 1 vote getter.
Because you put a woman on a forklift.
And it's his real mom. I didn't tell you that. It is actually his real mom.
I've heard.
Number 2 comes from NWA TNA.
Okay.
Because we've made fun of it so much, you have to see it. The Reverse Battle Royal. Yes, TNA tried a Reverse Battle Royal where 20 guys start outside of the ring to fight to get inside of the ring to have a Battle Royal where you throw people back out of the ring.
They're just grasping at straws here.
Huh?
They're just grasping at straws here.
At least they were trying new stuff. I'll give them that. It didn't come across well, but at least they're trying new stuff. Yes?
Let's try less new stuff and more
No,
stuff.
I agree with that. I completely agree with that. And because I guess everyone's a glutton for punishment, I apologize. I completely apologize. The third match, I think everyone knows what it's going to be. So, I think the best person to tell the story about this match is Al Snow.
I already know what match it is now.
It is the Kennel from Hell.
I knew that was it.
And the storyline leading into that's so funny that I cannot wait to see your reaction of, this is why they're doing that match. This is why they're doing this.
I've seen bits and pieces of...
Do you know the story?
I want to... I'm going to be wrong. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to be wrong. I'm not doing it.
YWW Wednesday night. Stay tuned to find out what happens when Ashley has to watch 3 of the worst matches in professional wrestling history. That was voted on by you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks.
We're also going to be talking about Andy Kaufman on that episode and his run in Memphis, which I cannot wait for.
It's because Andy Kaufman is your favorite.
It is. He is. He is. And then the next week, YWW, we're going to cover all the four big first, which I guess Super Clash 3 is not the first, but it's the only one you can find. It's the only one where all 3 promotions work together. Super Clash 3, NWA TNA Episode 1, WrestleMania 1, and Starrcade.
Woo!
Next week, SNS will be back. I'm hoping it'll be a happier episode next week.
Here's hoping.
We're on the road to SummerSlam. The main event's set. We've got 1 match set fully. I know there's a few matches already announced. We know we're going to get Ronda Rousey and Alexa Bliss. We know we're getting Carmella and Becky. AJ Styles defending the WWE Championship against Samoa Joe. Please don't fuck that up. And Roman Reigns, Brock. Unless a certain monster in the bank cashes in.
That's the only redeeming point in that.
Hands down. So, guys, that's going to wrap up this edition of SNS. Phil is super busy. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, Phil's not going to be back with us until probably 2 weeks. He'll be back before, I think, the episode before SummerSlam. We talked today about it. He let me know.
Phil has life. Phil has a real job. Sometimes he has to do stuff.
Yeah. But I do promise Phil will be back as well. And Phil will be complaining about Roman Reigns 100% because I have a text tirade from Phil about how much Roman Reigns sucks.
As per usual.
So for Ashley.
Good night, everybody.
My name is Richard, and instead of ending the show like we do the last couple of weeks, guys, I just want everyone to take the time. Let's talk about mental health. Let's get that out there. Let's take care. Let's build up each other and take care of one another. We will see you next week here on the Sunday Night Slam, exclusively on tbkmagazine.com and tbkradio.com.